I'm not quite sure of. Want to welcome everyone in to Texas Motor Speedway once again. Sorry for the delay and the technical difficulties. Dave Regal here in the broadcast booth for Sim Racing Media. This is the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth, as we always will remember our fallen friend. Here we are at Texas Motor Speedway for round one of the round of 12 of the SNN Stacy Strong Cup Series right here on Sim Racing Media. As I had mentioned just a few moments ago, some technical difficulties as we were getting underway, but RJ Root and a number of other drivers here, we're going to pull up our point standings. Alex Murray leads us into the round of 12 atop the pile, followed by RJ Root, Brandon Edstrom, Jacob Schneider, Jeremy Miller, Nick Stein, Tanner Marty, Ryan Samuelson, Rich Jett, Chris Claude, Sean Rogers, and of course from McAdoo, Pennsylvania, my fellow statesman, Mr. John Wilco in the number 62. Of course, John sitting right there on the bubble, going to have a few strong weeks here as, of course, we start the round of 12 with a clean slate. Now, this round of 12 is going to include some really exciting racing. Now, next Sunday, you will have somebody else here in the broadcast booth, as I will not be available or able to broadcast from where I will be. But next Sunday, we're going to be at Talladega Super Speedway, and then the third week of the round of 12 going to be at Bank of America, the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So next week, of course, I'm going to be missing my favorite racetrack at Talladega. But we are in the twilight of our season this year, as we're here in the round of 12, and of course the round of 8 after that, and the championship 4 going to be on November 5th at Phoenix. So very excited about that. Also, a little programming note, October 22nd, there will not be a broadcast, as SRM will actually be in Miami, Florida for the Homestead Miami race. So unfortunately, if you want to see anything, we may be streaming live from down there in Florida, but we'll not be streaming one of our races here on our airwaves. So once again, want to welcome everybody in as we take a look at Texas Motor Speedway at our current conditions, if you will. Of course, let me clean some of this up here, as I don't know how that gets there. But here in the round of 12, we're coming into a 78-degree day in Fort Worth, Texas, at this 1.5-mile quad oval, if you will. Of course, we're going to talk about the pass in the grass, as we once upon a time saw here at Texas. And of course, although that it's 78 degrees in the stands, the sun has been baking the asphalt all afternoon long. And we have a track temperature of 106 degrees. Now, taking a look at our qualifying results, as pretty much everybody went out to lay down qualifying laps, with the exception of 5 drivers. Joseph Pisciotta, he decides to bring home the fast time at a 29.47. Sean Rogers, Jeremy Miller, Brandon Edstrom, and Nick Stein make up your top 5. We'll go over that during the warm-up session, as we're going to be following all of these drivers all night long, as everybody just kind of hanging out down in the pit area, waiting for the warm-up session to begin. Once again, want to welcome everybody in here to the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth, as we're getting ready here on Sim Racing Media to be underway with our race here at Texas, the first race in the round of 12 of the 2023 playoffs. We're going to try to get a hold of Joseph Pisciotta, as it looks like he is right here. Hey, Joe, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, listen, congratulations on your fast time tonight. Looks like you laid down a blistering lap at 29.47. What's going to be your strategy getting through these 267 laps?
Definitely survival. I mean, it's a long race, it's 400 miles. I'm going to try to stay out of the playoff drivers' way. I don't want to mess them up. But we're going to try to do what we did at Kansas and try to upset some people. At least that's my plan. We'll see how it goes.
Well, you can stay out of the playoff driver's way, if you will. But I mean, quite frankly, you earned that position up there. I mean, if it were me, I'd drive like that Ford was 3 wide.
I mean, Maybe. I mean, at the end of the race, you know, if we have a restart or something, I'm probably going to do that. But I mean, I don't want to ruin anybody's playoffs contentions or my teammates' playoffs contentions. But we're going to try to keep the clean air. That's my plan, and definitely have no mistakes and finish all the laps. That's my goal.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on the pole for this evening. Good luck out there, and I'm sure we'll have a chance to talk to you at some point throughout tonight's race.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
And of course, the voice of Joe Pisciotta from PRE Racing. Of course, he's joined by teammates Alex Murray, Nick Stein, and Brandon Edstrom. At this point, we do want to take a look here at speaking with Alex Murray as he steams in here sitting atop the pile. We just have to get a hold of him. See if we can dial him up here on Sim Racing Media. Hey, Alex, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Hey, man, listen, you come in here to the round of 12 atop the pile. What's going to be your mindset getting through these next three races? Of course, here tonight at Texas, next week at Talladega, and the Roval in Charlotte.
Consistent finishes what it's going to take to advance and stay out of trouble. I know that we've got a lot of guys in here that are capable of winning and advancing, so hopefully we can take a win away from them here or even next week or at the Roval.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on coming into round 2 of the playoffs, the round of 12 atop the pile. That gives you a little bit of breathing room, so good luck the rest of the way and make Concord, North Carolina proud.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Let's see if we can find anybody else here in our playoff bracket. As I don't see, I mean, I do see a few, but it's going to be one of those nights where some of these drivers split off into different Discord channels, so it makes it hard to find them on the regular as we get down and dirty here with Dalton Mobley here in the number 2 Chevrolet Camaro. We do want to double check our paint schemes here. So you may see some things flash around your screen in different colors. Just want to make sure everybody's got the right stuff. You see Jeremy Miller here in the number 30 Ford Mustang. He's out just making sure that that everything feels exactly the same as it did. We'll take a look once again here at the track temperature. Still 106 degrees after qualifying, and of course in the simulation, you know, that track temperature going to be changing from, you know, qualifying to the warm-up and of course to the race itself. As we see Matt Gaskins in his Fireball paint scheme tonight, that's looking fantastic, if I do say so myself. Let's see if we can get this on our drone cam. That is a nice paint scheme right there. Kavaja Holt on the other side of the racetrack in the 00, brought to you by Stacy Strong, of course, in his Ford. A nice mix tonight of Fords and Chevrolets. Of course, on a Monday night, we have basically everybody is Chevy heavy. Just 2 Toyotas in the field tonight, and that's Jeff Carson and Chief Cook and Bottle Washer Chris Claude. So not sure what everybody else knows, but it seems like maybe Toyota doesn't have the power plant that they think they do, or that they hope that they would. Of course, as here in iRacing, we're able to change, you know, manufacturers of cars like you change your socks. You can pretty much go in there and drop that setup into whatever you want. And some of these cars will handle differently depending on their manufacturer. You know, we've seen that time and time again. Sure, if you take the paint and the decals off these cars and take them all the way down to primer, they pretty much look the same as one another. Seven scheduled laps this evening. Stage 1 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 80. Stage 2 going to end at 160. They'll have a total of 9 sets of tires to get through the evening. So going to lay 8, which means we're going to see some interesting pit strategies. In fact, let's do a little bit of basic calculation here. If we run 267 divided by 9, we're looking at a tire life of about 30 laps. But almost assuredly, we'll see them coming in much longer after that. As the field getting ready to grid up here, we'll take a brief look at our results. 17 drivers laying down a qualifying time from Joe Pisciotta all the way down to Tanner J. Marty. Joe Pisciotta going to sit on the pole. He'll be joined by Sean Rogers, Jeremy Miller, Brandon Edstrom, and Nick Stein in the top 5. Going to be a total of 24 cars taking the green flag if Kavaja Holt takes the green flag, as it looks like there are about 7 drivers that did not lay down qualifying laps. Now, that can be for a couple of different reasons. Some of them prefer to stay in the back and let everybody else make some mistakes. Also, it gives you some time to make adjustments to the car if maybe you didn't have as much practice time. So we'll have to see how that's going to pan out. But of course, our focus right now going to be on the pole sitter, Joseph Pisciotta, in the number 21 paddle track Ford Mustang. He's going to be on the pole, joined on the front row by Sean Rogers in the number 44 Beast Mode Chevrolet Camaro out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Row number 2 going to be made up of Burlington, New Jersey's very own Jeremy Miller and Brandon Edstrom from Springfield, Vermont in the number 74 Ford Mustang. Nick Stein and Ryan Samuelson going to be in row number 3, while Alex Murray and Cody Colley make up row number 4. Row number 5 going to be featuring Dalton Mobley from Cooper, Texas in his Chevrolet Camaro, as well as Jacob Schneider, who dominated last week at Bristol Motor Speedway in the 02 Ford Mustang. Fairview, Tennessee's very own Chris Claude alongside teammate and Micro Center aficionado Jeff Carson in the number 9 Toyota Camry. Row number 7 going to be RJ Root and Matt Gaskins in the 79. Tanner Marty out of Duval, Washington going to be rolling off in 14th, as Curitiba's very own Rafael Rodriguez going to be in 17th. Alex Prince and John Wilco, Steve Herring, Mark Johnson, Kavaja Holt, all going to round out everything else we've got going on here, as it sounds like the drivers will be going green as the iRacing.com pace car makes its way through the 3-4 complex. The drivers are excited. I'm excited. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. Ladies and gentlemen, grab some popcorn, call a friend, and settle in, because we are green flag racing here on Sim Racing Media. Joe Pisciotta gets a good jump over the rest of the field. He's going to be followed by Sean Rogers and Jeremy Miller single file as they get ready to go double file just behind him. Nick Stein in the 82 alongside Brandon Edstrom in the 74. We see Edstrom on the high side. He seems to have found a little bit of speed there as he's in that Nami Ford Mustang. All of the playoff drivers going to be highlighted by those folks there on the front splitter. Rear split goes across the windshield. That windshield banner, but side by side here on lap number 3, go Edstrom and Stein, as they now fall single file. Still following one another extremely closely. Alex Brinson, he's battling it out right now with Mark Johnston. Ford Mustang as they go single file. So all of these drivers starting to feel one another out pretty early in this race. We see all of a sudden, I believe that's Rafael Rodriguez riding out here on the high side, just letting the speeders get past him. Here into number 60, he's got Kavaja Holt underneath him. Kavaja passing with relative ease as he gets out. As Cavage is already up 9 positions, so he's obviously driving like he knows what he's doing. Let's watch him work his way through the field. Here on lap number 5 of 267, of course, working our way toward lap number 80. You're watching the Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series live here on Sim Racing Media. Dave Ridley in the broadcast booth with you tonight. As Deb Harris in our YouTube.com live chat wishing luck to all the drivers. PBS International cheering on the number 60. As my goodness, Cavaggio home working on the high side of Matt Gaskins, and that's a dangerous place because I have been side by side with Gaskins. And being on the high side, all it takes is one flick of the wrist and bad things can happen. Cavaggio pulling out and giving some space to Gaskins now as they head down the backstretch, side by side, putting door handle to door handle nearly, going into turn number 3. Cavaggio rolling it out, hot and heavy. Chris Claude allowing Gaskins on bottom. That puts Rafael Rodriguez just behind Chris Claude for 17th position. This is the battle for 17th. Is Tanner Marty going to be on the high side of Rafael, who's being cheered on, as I had just mentioned, by PDS International. So glad to have international contestants there. All but 3 wide going down into turn 3 here on lap number 7. Pretty early to be going down there. And still not a whole lot of real estate between the bumpers of Pisciotta and Rogers. The 21 and the 44 atop this pile. There's just over a tenth of a second separates those 2 drivers. Looks like Pisciotta intends to just log his laps. And as he had mentioned earlier, he doesn't want to get in the way of a playoff driver. But you have to remember, folks, whether you're a playoff driver or not, you earn that spot. You earn where you are. And positions 1 through 5, that whole top 5. Everybody exactly where they had started. So obviously, many of these drivers, of course, Rogers, Edstrom, everybody all the way back here from 2nd through 4th, all playoff drivers. Nick Steiner and Joe Pisciotta kind of like a pair of non-playoff driver bookends, keeping the playoff drivers in check, if you will. I'm sorry, that's Dalton Hogan, like a non-playoff driver bookend. 2nd through 5th, Rogers, Miller, Edstrom, and Stein, all contending here in the playoffs, going to be held together by Joe Pisciotta and Dalton Mobley. Rafael Rodriguez about to be challenged by Mark Johnston here in the lead. So it's going to be an 80-60 split as they come through the water on that 11. A good start to this race for Pisciotta and company, as Pisciotta now extending his lead over Rogers by 0.2 of a second. And something that we should always remember, especially in a situation like this, is these drivers, specifically when you're leading the way that Pisciotta is. Hit those marks. Don't worry about the car behind you. If he wants to get around you, he'll do his best. As all of a sudden, Jeremy Miller getting a run on Sean Rogers. We'll keep it right there because I'm sure Rogers didn't want to see that. Just 6 seconds separating first from 17th now. So not a big gap, as it's all but a half a lap back to Rich Jett, who is all by his lonesome. Not sure if the playoff driver Jett is having some type of mechanical difficulty or if this is part of the strategy. Something tells me it's not part of the strategy. Perhaps he started, it looks like he started from the pits. As we'll take a look here at the next driver in line. That's John Wilco, as Wilco starting to close in now on the 89 of Steve Herring. Wilco dropping down 2 positions from where he had started. But he definitely does not seem rattled whatsoever. Making our way up and through the field, we see Nick Stein. A little battle breaking out here between the 44 of Sean Rogers and the 30 of Jeremy Miller, as Rogers starting to sniff that left rear quarter panel of the 30. Rogers getting a little loose coming out of turn 2. Not sure what's causing that, but I'm sure he's holding on to the wheel with white knuckles, that's for sure. As we drift a little bit further back, RJ Root in the 69, challenging Jeff Carson at Cross Junction, Virginia. And Valdosta, Georgia's very own, doing his best to work his way through the field. I'm sorry, Gloucester, Virginia. Who is from Valdosta, Georgia? I don't remember. Or why that would stick in my head, but Gloucester, Virginia. So a pair of Virginians battling it out. Not cheering on Aaron Rodgers, that for sure, but Sean Rogers here starting to make the case that perhaps he wants second position as he is getting ever closer now to that rear bumper of the 30. You can start to see these numbers shrink here in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. That's the battle for second position right now. And Sean Rogers also has to contend with Alex Murray behind him in the double deuce. Murray getting past the 44 of Rogers. Now looks to the inside. Rogers getting a good run on exit out of 4. Trying to hold off Murray. Murray not having any success yet because Rogers just has that good of an entry in turns 1 and 3. Murray's got the speed of 2 and 4. All of a sudden, we see Brandon Edstrom going side by side with Chris. Not sure what caused this battle to break out, but we're glad that it did, that's for sure. Because we're going to keep an eye right here in the 74 and the 82. Now the 22 getting a run. He nearly gives a bump here to Sean Rogers as all of a sudden Alex Murray just made it that easy to get around Sean Rogers. Let's take a look once again at that pass. As we're going to see Sean Rogers setting himself up, or I'm sorry, Alex Murray setting himself up to get around Rogers. He comes right up to that rear bumper, nearly kisses it, but takes the air right off of that spoiler and just cruises on by. Rogers, though, not done yet. As he is starting to sink backwards. He's not necessarily falling back, but I'm sure, if anything, you can say that he's reloading. 22 laps in here at Texas Motor Speedway. Dave Regal in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth, the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth. Specifically, Joe Pisciotta, your race leader. He's followed by Jeremy Miller in the number 30. Alex Murray, Nick Stein, and Sean Rogers, your top 5. It's Pisciotta, your playoff driver up here, trying to shake things up for the playoff drivers. And I'll tell you what, I don't blame him one bit. He earned his spot to be up there, and if I were him, I'd be full send Joe. Nick Stein looking to the inside of Brandon Edstrom. Schneider now looking to the inside of Edstrom. Those 3 cars just thundering by here on lap number 24. Back at the battle for 8th position. RJ Root pestering Dalton. As Mulder at this point has got to get to the point where he says, oh, RJ, you go ahead and I'm out here trying to buy laps. And there he goes, does RJ on by, as now he enters the battle for 7th. Just ahead though, this is starting to look like a nasty little salad bowl. As we can see, Edstrom, Stein, and Schneider. It's almost the accounting firm we talked about last week at Bristol Motor Speedway. Edstrom, Stein, and Schneider, or Stein, Schneider, and Edstrom. Accountants for 35 years they were. Ron Fitting is starting to regain some of his positions lost from where he had qualified, as Fitting getting ready to challenge playoff driver and chief cook and bottle washer here in the Cup Series, Chris Claude, as they are all by their lonesome here going down the backstretch into turn number 3. Ron Fitting starting to pursue ever so gently, as just about 3/10 of a second separate. Whoa! Claude getting loose coming out of 4. Not sure what brought that on. Let's take a look at that and see one more time what happened with Chris, because I'll tell you what, that's something that we don't see very often out of Chris. He usually is a very stable driver. But coming out of 4, the rear end just came around, and Chris, skilled as he is, was able to bring it back in. So he definitely gets some style points for that recovery. Brandon Edstrom now getting ready to heat this battle up on lap number 28, working our way toward lap number 80. As Edstrom in the 74 looking to the inside now of the 82, who also gets loose the same way that Claude did, nearly fishtailing down the backstretch. This time, though, not able to save his spot, as Edstrom just ate the lunch of Nick Stein, who left it on the table and said, I'll be right back. As Nick Stein, as I just mentioned, challenging his very own teammate, RJ Root, as they're going to be going at it pretty hot and heavy here for the next little bit. We can see RJ trying to draft up to the rear of Edstrom, and maybe that's affecting some of it, as of course at that 29 lap mark we're starting to get to where these tires may not be as useful as they used to be. Some of that grip going to start to fall away. Track temperature still 106 degrees, and believe me, that's affecting the rubber, as these cars are going to be slip sliding around all night long. RJ now looking to the inside side of Edstrom again. He manages to keep it here on the low side. He's going to need one more turn, though, to make that run and make it stick, and Edstrom has already seen him try to make the move, so he's going to take that away from him and hit RJ's line. And make RJ have to refit that out. Joe Pisciotta, our race leader here in the number 21 paddle track Ford Mustang. 4 blue ovals in the top 4. Your first Chevrolet is Sean Rogers, who is the only Chevy until you get back to 10th position. So just 2 Chevrolet Camaros in the top 10. Not a Camry to see until you hit 11th position back to John Carson. So obviously, as we had seen earlier, there's got to be something to at least the Ford power plant tonight, as side by side goes the 44 of Sean Rogers and the 22 of Alex Murray. But perhaps some of these drivers switching manufacturers to the Ford tonight simply because Ford has something different that we don't know about. Pisciotta, Miller, Schneider, Murray, Rogers, and Edstrom, your top 6. And out of that top 10, just 2 Chevrolets as we go back here to Dalton Mobley, who's being, let's just say, pursued by Jeff Carson, as Carson not really trying to push it, especially this early in the race. And I'll tell you what, Jeff Carson out of Cross Junction, Virginia, is one of those drivers who we almost always know will be there at the end as long as that car is clean. And, you know, he's the driver who's going to be assessing the other racers around him. I mean, you know, that Camry, as long as he stays clean, he's going to come home with a top 10, if not top 5 finish. And we see him closing in slowly but surely on Dalton Mobley, getting the run there in the Micro Center Toyota Camry. But, you know, Jeff Carson looking now, all of a sudden, wow, Mobley gets tight and Carson just pounces on to 10th position. Mobley now trying to pursue him down the front stretch. Carson is not going to be able to get around him. Now, the interesting thing is, for Jeff Carson, do you let Mobley have that back to save the car, or do you tell him, hey, listen, I got up here, you didn't, and now it's all about me. Sean Rogers still out there trying to chase down Jeremy Miller. I'm sorry, looks like Mark Johnston stepped out of line. We'll see what happened with him. Mark Johnston running in the last position here in the number 80 Ford Mustang, maybe having some issues as he comes out of fourth. Oh! Doesn't just rub the wall, but beats it. Does a little bit of landscaping there. This is not time for passing the grass. And he may have just been so tight on corner exit there that he's got to get down there to pit road and make some adjustments on the 80. As he does come down pit road. Looks like there's some damage to the right side of the 80 from where he had beaten that wall up. We'll see what happens here. He's going to come down and get 4 tires. Drop one side, lift the other. Obviously, Mark Johnston did not save any tires and just couldn't get the Jesus out of it. So now we're going to start to see what some of these setups can do. I say setups, and folks, you have to understand, this is what we call a setup. Where drivers can make adjustments, as RJ Root coming down pit road now. But drivers can make adjustments to the chassis and tune it just right to make them, the driver, feel more comfortable and perhaps even make that car a little bit faster, especially when you tailor it to the driving style. The thing is, some of these cars, they've got what we call long-run speed, where they get better as the run goes on. Got some of them that have better short-run speed, which, you're hoping for lots of cautions. At a place like Texas Motor Speedway, you're looking for something that has some long-run speed. We don't see a whole lot of cautions here. Which, of course, now just jinxed the Jesus out of it. And we'll take a look right here. I mean, last week we had 5 cautions, and you have to understand that 2 of those cautions were for stage breaks. So 3 cautions for the cars last week out of all places at Bristol Motor Speedway. Last time we were at Texas as we're wrecking on the front stretch. Looks like it was a good save, though. We'll look back to it. Never mind. Looks like we are under caution as Jeremy Miller may have been the impetus here. Miller coming out of turn 4. Oh, nearly neck codes himself into 60. Oh, that's a problem. Let's see if we can run that one back there. It almost looked like a neck code situation. We'll see if we can zoom in just a little bit closer here. Right in here onto Miller. You can almost see. We're gonna slow that down because you can almost see the way that he comes in here. Now watch Miller's front right quarter panel, right where that front right tire is. He's going to come up along Rodriguez. They never touch and then the car straightens itself back out. Of course, that's iRacing doing its thing. But then we, of course, see him coming back across, and he can't get it back safe. Fishtails, of course. Double deuce of Alex Murray, nearly avoiding disaster. We'll take one more look at it from the 60, and we'll see what that looked like from the cockpit of Rafael Rodriguez's car. So we're going to go right here. He gets nudged. Oh, I'm sorry, this is actually from Miller's car. Now we'll run back and look at Rodriguez's point of view. So we're going to see right here, where did Rafael Rodriguez go? Here we go. He gets a little bit of a shove there. Manages to keep it forward. He thinks he's fine. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, oh! And he's just looking right in the whites of the eyes of Jeremy Miller. So that'll shuffle some things up here. As Jeremy Miller had to come down pit road. It's going to knock him out of contention for the win here. But Joe Pisciotta and Alex Murray left atop the pile, followed by Jacob Schneider, Sean Rogers, Nick Stein, your top 5. Brandon Edstrom, Jeff Carson, Ryan Samuelson, Matt Gaskins, and Alex Brinson, your top 10. When we go back, green flag racing. See if we can get a hold of Jeremy quick. Hey Jeremy, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me. Hey man, take us through that and tell me what happened there. Did you get tight coming out of 4 or what?
Well, I mean, he's in the wall and he's one of the slowest cars on the track and he bounced down. I could have done more to miss him, but I didn't expect him to be get next to him from that far back. I mean, you enter a corner a second behind a guy, you probably shouldn't be next to him on exit, but it happens. Car's not killed, so we're going to try to recover.
Yeah, you know, you're going to have to look back at the broadcast later. If you look at what the netcode did initially when it anticipated your contact, you got up against him via netcode, and then the front right fender of the car popped back out as if iRacing said, oops, our bad, and then, of course, you know, the kill switch coming through the grass got you. But it was just kind of interesting to watch it from iRacing's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. It's not 100% his fault, but I don't think it's 100% mine. I think it's pretty much a clear-cut racing deal from what I saw watching the replay, but it is what it is. We have to run on thin ice now because we have a cause caution that wasn't really a cause caution, but we'll see how it goes the rest of the race.
All right, brother, listen, good luck the rest of the way, and tell you guys up in Field Filler I'm going to be coming for him for interviews later.
Yep.
Move him back on up there to Field Filler Racing. Of course, Field Filler made up tonight of some of the most exciting drivers on the track. Of course, Jacob Schneider, Jeremy Miller, RJ Root, and Ryan Samuels. So we're going to get a chance to talk to some of those drivers tonight. As the lights in the iRacing.com pace car are out. We want to invite all of you now, as we're coming into turn number 4, we're waiting. The iRacing.com pace car bringing us through. We want to invite all of you to turn it up here on Sim Racing Media. watching the Stacy Strong Cup Series right here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsor. Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series live here on Sim Racing Media, YouTube.com. Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Want to welcome everybody in tonight, especially here in our YouTube.com live chat. Let us know who you're pulling for, who you're cheering for, as Amanda Price, the last person to cheer on for the 44. Side by side, though, a battle for the lead right now. Joe Pisciotta and Jacob Schneider. Schneider getting some speed on exit as that high line has a lot of room for momentum. Pisciotta that will battle it out here on the inside as they go door handle to door handle on lap 60 as we work our way toward lap number 80 for the stage number 1 green and white checkered flag. Looks like Schneider getting the edge on Pisciotta this time. So maybe a positive change that he made to the chassis of the 02 Ford Mustang. Don't worry, cheering on for Amanda Price, cheering on for number 3 for that Sean Rogers. He's running in third position just behind this battle as they've got the hammer and tongs out, as the great one Tony Trapasso would say right about now. All of a sudden, Brandon Edstrom giving a little bit of a bump draft here to the 21. Edstrom bumping Pisciotta along, maybe loosening him a little bit as he drifted up into the 02. Schneider getting a hold of his ground, but they are not giving up very easily, that's for sure, as we're going to see right here. We can see just how close these drivers are from a couple of different angles. In fact, we'll go right here to the chopper cam as the chopper has made its way into position. chopper and now a blimp battle from the other side of the racetrack, looking from the outside in. We can see Schneider getting a run on entry. We're going to see him getting an even better run on exit, but Pisciotta able to use that low side. That takes the ability to swing the 0-2 down for Schneider, and Schneider really wants to try to use all of that racetrack to use all of that speed. And right now, as they're battling it out, that's closing the gap now for Edstrom and Rogers to move in. As everybody came down during that caution back on lap number 42, the exception of Dalton Mobley, he's the only one that came in on 43. Mark Johnston coming in on 35, so 35. So everybody pretty much equal on tires, as now the 44 and the 74 decide maybe they want to make a run here. 3 out of the 4 drivers here in the top 4 are playoff drivers. And Pisciotta, I'll tell you what, if he would have been able to qualify for the playoffs, will be up here just the same way with that pink banner across the windshield, the splitter, and the rear spoiler. Of course, you folks will notice tonight the absence of my broadcast partner, Matt Metler, as we haven't worked together for the last couple of weeks since the situation at home. So our thoughts go out to him. We hope that everything is good. Speaking of everything being good, Sean Rogers now finally breaking away from Brandon Edstrom as he gets to the low side of Edstrom now. Sean Rogers in the 44 being cheered on by Amanda Price. He's got the momentum now as he pulls away from Brandon Edstrom and puts Joe Pisciotta in the crosshairs of the 44. Looking a little bit deeper back in the field, Alex Brinson in the Selker Chevrolet Camaro. He's getting right here to the rear of the 82. That's Nick Stein. So Princeton, his traditional number 19, a little bit of a Joe Gibbs number font there, if you will, chases down the 82 of Nick Stein, and it looks like that battle is going to be raging on for quite some time. As Kavaja Holt, oddly enough, it's showing that he's running laps, but we darn sure know that he's not. Although on Nick Stein, this battle here is where it's all going to be Brandon Edstrom trying to get back up here to Sean Rogers in the 44. So the 44 and the 74 trying to lay it down. While just ahead of them, Schneider and Pisciotta by less than a tenth of a second as Pisciotta loosens the rear end of Schneider, pushing him through the throttle, swings to the outside, tries to make a move. He's going to bring along Sean Rogers in tow, as Rogers may be kind of a drafting partner at a place like this. Another bump from the 21 as he is using the front end of that Mustang as a battering ram. That opens the door for Rogers now to take his 44 into second position and break up this Ford Fiesta, if you will. And that's probably not so, how about the Fiesta of Fords? Sean Rogers securing second position away from Joe Pisciotta, as maybe Pisciotta made a change there with a little more than 10 laps to go here in stage number 1. Maybe Pisciotta made a change that he's not necessarily happy with, as it looks like the rear end of that race car is just stepping out on exit. So perhaps either some worn tires, as we're just about 30 laps in here. That's when we start to see some of the tire problems. We'll see if he does it again here on exit. Does Pisciotta. See Pisciotta coming out of 4 again, this time a lot tighter. So not a quad problem, just an acute situation right now. can see Rogers here about 0.3 of a second behind Schneider, about a quarter of a second ahead of front row Joe Pisciotta. Rogers touching the grass line just a little bit, maybe trying to get, you know, a 1/10 or a 100th of a second faster. Joe Pisciotta now with a rear view mirror full of Alex Murray in the double deuce as Murray and Brandon Edstrom are coming like a pair of freight trains. They've just got to hold on for about another 5 laps to the end of stage number 1. As they swing it down the backstretch, less than a 1/10 of a second now from Edstrom to Murray. As Edstrom trying to find an edge, if you will, here on lap number 75. We can see that gap getting ever larger there between Brandon Edstrom and Jeff Carson from 5th to 6th position. We'll see what it looks like here for Jacob Schneider, as Schneider's been keeping it pretty tight this entire time. Very consistent lap times according to our graph here. And we can see that right here at just about a 30.9 to a 31.014. As the time is starting to fall off, you can see 30.9 on 76, 31.127, as he's going to navigate around Mark Johnston in the 80. So that can have an effect on your lap time. And as I mentioned, everybody on the same pit strategy right now. Sean Rogers falling victim once again to front row Joe Pisciotta. Here on lap number 79. They're going to be going fender to fender down the backstretch as we roll out through. Rogers trying to catch a little bit of the draft off the rear of the 21. It's a Chevrolet and a Ford here trying to make it work together to try to catch themselves up to Jacob Schneider, who when he comes across the start-finish line, Jacob Schneider on the final lap of stage number 1. Alex Princeton, he's currently got that last spot in the top 10. And we can see where he is as far as, whoa, they make contact, the 81 of Ryan Samuelson and the 19 of Alex Princeton, as Princeton uses the 80 driven by Mark Johnson as a pick to try to claw his way up over top of the number 81 Hoka Ford Mustang. Samuelson, whoa, nearly loosens himself up as he was going for the rear bumper of the 19, gets a run on the 19. And we are under caution. That is a little bit of caution contact, if you will. Jacob Schneider brings home the green and white. Hey, that's not necessary. Be right back, folks. turns out the action between the 21 and the 02 is a little bit of love tapping. As we're going to get a hold of Jacob Schneider from Field Filler Racing. Hey, Jacob, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me. Hey, Jake, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me. Hey, Jake, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me.
I sure do. How's it going, guys?
Hey, listen, man, it's good, but I'll tell you what, after I was a little concerned when I saw the 21 giving you some love taps. I didn't realize that you guys were teammates, so I got a little scared for you.
Yeah, we're not teammates tonight, I don't think, the way we're racing each other. But, you know,
So
I didn't think
were
anything
they
that
love
happened under
taps or
green.
frustration taps?
I don't know. You may have to talk to him separate. But I thought we were just racing hard under green, and he comes and starts hitting me under yellow. So, I don't know. I guess I'm not supposed to race hard. I don't know. You have to ask him.
Fair enough. I guess I'll have to ask him. All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on the green and white checkered flag here. What are you thinking going into stage 2?
I'm thinking I would like to settle down a little bit, or I don't know if we'll survive the rest of this race. I got one stage win and good stage points, so I think I'll be a bit more conservative this stage. If Joseph wants to come up here and win this one, I'll probably let him.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Maybe we'll see you on the other side at another stage break, and if anything, hopefully on the podium at the end.
Yep, hope to talk to you guys again tonight.
Set him back up in the field filler. We're going to get a hold right now of Joe Pisciota. Hey, Joe, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, what was going on with you and the 02 there at the end of stage 1?
I don't know. I was racing him hard, and he tried to wreck me like 4 times going for the lead, and I just went up to tell him that I wasn't really happy with that, and it's a little early, and he tried to commit murder on me and broke my car, so I'm not really sure what he was doing. I'm just grabbing over his head, I guess.
Well, you know, there's still a lot of race to go. We're going to 165 for stage 2. I don't know if you got that memo, but 165, so about another 80 laps. What are you thinking here in stage 2?
I'm not sure. I mean, we had a little bent toe link, so we knocked that out. It still feels a little crooked in the wheel, so I don't know. It really depends on how the car feels. I mean, if she's good and we can get back to the front, thinking about running it out, but if we have to figure something out, I got to figure something else out.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way, and maybe we'll see you there at the end of one of our stages.
I hope so.
Get him back on up into pre. And I'm going to have to take a moment here and step aside once we go back in. So it looks like we've got another lap. So we've got a quick go stop in here with Chris Claude and the rest of the leadership here. Sorry about that, folks. Every now and then you catch something and you've got a quick run to the boss man. Here on some of that NASCAR, the boss man is driver, the number 10, Mr. Chris Claude out of Fairview, Tennessee. As he has been the commissioner here in the SRM Cup Series for the last several years. I can't be more thankful for some of the latitude that Chris allows me, as I have raced in this series, I have broadcasted this series, I've done everything you can do except for win, which is why I sit up here in the booth. Decision had to be made earlier on this season, back in July, as it was time to hang up the racing gloves. And of course then, after the tragic passing of my teammate Tony Trapasso, I moved into this booth role here on Sunday nights, as I am the voice of Monday and Tuesday night NASCAR, featuring the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series, and now have added the Cup Series onto my schedule. So if you like hanging out with me here on a Sunday night, you can always come over on a Monday or a Tuesday and catch us. Deb Harris letting us know that the Prodigy cars are looking sharp tonight. As always, they sure are, Deb. Glad to have you with us. It's the iRacing.com pace car rolls it down pit road. Stage 2 about to be underway. 80 laps to the green and white checkered flag. We hit the Geico restart zone and we're back underway. Jacob Schneider with the good run on restart. Battling down right behind him, 2x2 as we head toward the arc. Need an arc? I know a guy. Sean Rogers and Brandon Edstrom going to go fender to fender here early on lap number 87. Everybody coming down pit road on lap 82 this time. Looks like he may have come down for some repair at 35 seconds. And now single file go to the top 5. Top 7. Alex Murray's looking for more real estate here underneath Alex Murray in the double deuce. Alex Murray, a pair of Alexes going at it hammer and tongs, with Joe Pisciotta in tow just behind Prinzen. Pisciotta looking like he's running the Ryko setup tonight, getting a run over top of Prinzen. Gonna slide right between Prinzen and Murray. Now he does a little Texas two-step as he looks to the inside. Just 5 cars laps down. It looks like Mark Johnston going to be a lucky dog, as he is just 1 lap down. So he has been a pretty consistent lap car. So it's like Rodriguez down about 4 laps, as well as Ron Fitting and Kavaja Holt and Cody Colley substantially down. They have decided to put on the car this year. Brandon Edstrom, the new race leader, was just ahead of Sean Rogers in the 43. So the 74 and the 44 doing battle with Jacob Schneider, watching from behind. We can see exactly what he sees now from the cockpit. As he's back here just kind of hanging on, watching what's going on ahead of him. As Greenville, South Carolina, Jacob Schneider, we had just spoken with him a few moments ago. Perfectly content watching them battle it out here as he is slowly but surely clawing his way up there, closing that gap to what's now about 1/2 second. As Joe Pisciota challenging the evolution of Alex Morales after he had parallel bumped himself between the two Alexes, very crazy perspective. And he's really got his sights set on Ryan Samuelson, the 81 Oka Ford Mustang. But right now, perfectly content, just hanging on here in 10th position. So they're starting to bunch themselves up like an accordion at a polka concert. As we can see these drivers making their way through lap number 96, working our way toward 165. Earlier, of course, reporting that we were going to have stage break at lap 160, but according to NASCAR rules, we are following, or the NASCAR rules that we're following, we're going to go 165. So a little bit of a change there to strategy. We may see another caution as everybody came down on 82. So we may see another caution somewhere around 120, 130 to get to the end of the stage with all things being intact. Jeff Carson up here, a little three-car pile-up, if you will, with Dalton Oakley immediately to sandwich. He's following Jacob Schneider and Sean Rogers, who's up in second position, about a half second ahead, as Edstrom starting to think about having to hold off Rogers, as they are less than 1/10 of a second between them. Deb, thanks. I'm happy to be here as well. I appreciate you being in the youtube.com live chat. As always, I try to explain to folks that although I miss my friend, I'm proud to sit in his seat. That's for sure, because I'll tell you that he will be excited to be here tonight, hanging out with all of you. Because I know that he loved this league. He loved everything about it. Side by side now, the battle for the lead raging as Sean Rogers gets a run over top of Brandon Edstrom. And now we have a new race leader. His name is Sean Rogers, and he is driving the number 44 Beast Mode Chevrolet Camaro. And he's got that thing all kinds of cranked up here on lap 100 as we hit the century mark. Working our way toward lap 165. Of course, here in Stacey Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, we are proud to follow the NASCAR full season schedule, the full schedule of races. As I mentioned tonight, the first night in the round of 12 for 2023. As we come into tonight, last week at Bristol was an exciting week, and I cannot be more proud of what some of these drivers have done over the last couple of years, especially early in the racetrack. Tomorrow night, in the Lockheed Management Xfinity Series, we'll be right back here at Texas as Edstrom now looking to the underside of Sean Rogers as they are now side by side, door handle to door handle, going down the back chute. But tomorrow, the Andy's Frozen Custard 300 right here at Texas Motor Speedway on simracingmedia.com. Or rephrase, on simracingmedia on youtube.com. And an Allen Series point standings in that race. And of course, tomorrow, the second race of the round of 12 in the Xfinity Series. Then an off week next week on Monday, which is, well, it's good for me as I will be on my way home from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, going down to see Mommy Dearest. through 1 and 2 is that we're able to see, all of these racing series together at the same time. Now, Tuesday, the Truck Series is off, but then October 3rd, which I will be back for, the Truck Series will be at my favorite racetrack, Talladega Superspeedway, as we are 3 wide coming out of turn number 4. My God, nobody decides that he wants to make this a 3-way battle. Brandon Edstrom washing up into Sean Rogers as he is the meat in that 3-wide sandwich. Rogers holding on desperately. Not sure what Mobley has decided to do here besides turn on the afterburners. Good save by Rogers as he just got freight trained. Dalton Mobley coming out of nowhere, up 7 positions now from where he had started to. Now looks through inside of Brandon Edstrom Racing as he has just turned on the afterburners. Looks like John Rocco having some trouble further back. We may have to look at that later. But the Truck Series right now getting ready for their off week as they do not race here at Bristol. At Texas. They, of course, are in the round of 8 already. It's the second race of their round going to be at Talladega Superspeedway. Then another couple of off weeks, and then Homestead, which, of course, I'll get to see live in person that particular week. And quite frankly, that's an exciting series to be watching as well, as Channing Ballou leads that series in the points, followed by Brandon Minto, Sylvain Joly, Claude Ferland, and Gabriel Lafreniere, as they are tied for 4th position. So an interesting development. As all of a sudden we have a weird battle up here in the top 5. RJ Root has absolutely plowed his way through the field after starting 13th and now is up in 5th position as he is side by side with Dalton Mobley. Where this battle has come from, I don't know. All of a sudden, we went, whoa, Sean Rogers getting loose coming out of field. It's going to open the door for RJ Root. Right now it goes Schneider, Edstrom, and Rogers, your top 3. As they are single file all the way back. Back to Schneider, Ryan Samuelson, and Jeff Carson. So the entire top 10 has gone single file after this battle has just broken out. Maybe centered around RJ Root. Jacob Schneider now up 9 positions, running in first, leading this race. RJ Root just ahead of Dalton Mobley, who came up like a bat out of hell for the lead, now has backed himself down into 5th position. Sean Rogers in the position on the racetrack, trying to get involved in this battle between Edstrom and RJ. 3 playoff drivers on lap 111 of 267, working our way toward lap 165. So about 55 laps to the end of stage 2, and this has just come out of nowhere and kept it exciting, that's for sure. As RJ Root slides in front of Brandon Edstrom to secure 2nd position away. I feel like if we're getting ready to go 3 wide with Sean Rogers getting ready to be the meat in that sandwich as he was about to split Edstrom and Root. And I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't suddenly warn Sean Rogers. The last person you want to take 3 wide anywhere is RJ Root. He's going to beat you every time. RJ Root is an absolute expert at these racetracks, okay? And I can't tell you enough that the Gloucester, Virginia native is, well, for lack of a better term, he's a friggin' genius getting around these racetracks. The only time I ever was able to race side by side with him was, if I was lapped and he was the one lapping me. I admire RJ for everything that he does, and even so, he has now battled his way up from 13th position into 2nd. RJ looking to punch his ticket for the championship for a while. I'm sorry, for the round of 8 a while, as we're here in the round of 12. But what a blast it must be to be on the racetrack right now. Here on lap 114, as Sean Rogers looking to the inside once again of Edstrom. Edstrom now taking the high side away from Rogers. He can't roll out all of that speed as side by side he now goes with Nick Stein. Fender coming across the start finish line on lap 115. 50 to go now in stage number 2 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. You're watching the Stacey Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series live on Sim Racing Media on YouTube.com. Glad to have all of you with us tonight. And as I say that, I'm going to gracefully bow out, and we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. Back to Texas Motor Speedway, where ding dong, thank you DoorDash for the Dairy Queen deliciousness that just came to us here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Dave Regal here with you from the green flag to the checkered flag right now on Sim Racing Media. You're watching Jacob Schneider work lap 122, working his way toward lap 165. So a few more than 40 laps to go here in stage number 2. RJ Root powering his way up from 13th to run in second position. I want to take a look back here at whatever happened with John Wilco on lap 119. We see Wilco here in the 62 getting just underneath Mark Johnston, who had an earlier issue in the race. iRacing timing and scoring telling us he went off track, so let's see what happened as he does, wow, get loose and do some landscaping here right across the infield at Texas Motor Speedway. Manages to keep it green as Chris Claude now coming down pit road. We'll see Claude coming down, perhaps for a scheduled pit stop, as he's definitely going to be giving up at least a lap as he comes into that 11th stall. Looks like we're going to see a lot of pit stops coming in, as now the 44 of Sean Rogers bringing it pit side along with RJ Root. So maybe Chris Claude knew something that we didn't, as he's going to come down pit road. Jacob Schneider going to stay out, at least for the time being, as green flag pit stops are underway here at Texas Motor Speedway. You're watching the Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, as it looks like Brandon Edstrom coming down pit road. RJ Root and Sean Rogers both going out. Jacob Schneider in the 0-2. He stays up here in the lead. To do our Amanda Price once again in our youtube.com live chat. She's cheering on Sean Rogers in the 44. Here's your spoiler alert, guys and gals, out there on the racetrack, as I'm going to start going through some of these NFL scores from the day. Right now, of course, over on NBC, the Raiders leading the Steelers with 7:04 left in the first, 7-0, so nothing crazy, but 7-0 in that old AFC rivalry matchup between the Raiders and the Steelers. The Browns beat the Titans 27-3, so Chris Claude can't be too happy about his Titans, and of course, also going to be heartbroken when we get to the Cowboys score. The Lions beat the Falcons and improved to 2-1 in the season, 20-6 up in Detroit, while the Packers squeak one out just ahead of the Saints to move to 2-1 on the season, as they're now undefeated at home. The Miami Dolphins, though, are the ones that I got to look at today. This is incredible. Tua Tagovailoa throws for 309 yards and 4 touchdowns. So if you had Tua as your quarterback in your fantasy league, you just racked up some crazy points today. But Tua throws for 309 yards, 4 touchdowns. And Devon Achane goes into the game and has 18 carries for 203 yards from the running back position. And the Dolphins put up a 70-burger and improved to 3-0 over the Broncos. Now, I'm not saying that the Dolphins are for real, as they've only beat the Chargers, the Patriots, and the Broncos. But I'll tell you what, next week, I can't wait to see them play the Bills in Orchard Park, because that's going to be quite a good game for a 1 o'clock game. It's a shame that we're not deeper in the season and can see them flexed out, as it looks like the 0-2 of Jacob Schneider coming down pit road. That's going to cycle Alex Murray up to the lead. Joe Pisciotta and Nick Stein coming down pit road. So Murray, Sanderson, and Roby still not having come in yet. But yeah, the Dolphins improved to 3-0 after laying up a 70-burger in front of the Broncos. They beat the Broncos by a 50-burger. Just saying, I like burgers. Just saying. The Chargers go on the road to make the Vikings 0-3 and win 28-24 up in Minnesota. The Patriots finally get their first win of the season over the Jets, of course, who have gone like 2,000 days without the Patriots, as the Patriots bring home the win 15-10. The Bills shellacked the Commanders 37-3 in Landover, Maryland. The Texans bring home a win against the Jaguars 37-17. The Colts squeak one out by just 3 points over the Ravens 22-19 in Baltimore. And the Seahawks, with the 12th man at home in Seattle, beat the Panthers by 10, 37-27. The Chiefs absolutely put the Bears away, 41-10, and the Cardinals beat the Cowboys in Phoenix, 28-16. So a busy day in the NFL, and some really incredible scores, some incredible things going on, and you don't know what's going on until you're finally there. But speaking of not knowing what's going on, looks like our top 5, none of them have come down pit road, as Alex Murray, Dalton Mobley, Rich Jett, Matt Gaskins, and Tanner Marty have not come down, as now Dalton Mobley blinks. He is going to bring it down pit road. John Wilco running in 6th. He has not come down pit road, as RJ Root, Sean Rogers, Brandon Edstrom, Jacob Schneider going to regain those top spots, as Alex Murray still out here running a 31.5-second lap. Rich Jett, the last driver not to come down pit road, has decided he will. Well, I'm sorry, Rich Jett and John Wilco, teammates, still not coming down pit road. They may be waiting just a little bit too long, as now you're praying to God that nothing bad happens. As Chris Clark would be your lucky dog, as he's currently in 12th position. We can see Chris right now back on the lead lap, as everybody has cycled back through, with the exception of Mobley, Gaskins, Marty, and Ron. Oh, and Steve Harris. Don't forget Steve. As those cars are all going to be gaining that lap back whenever Rich Jett decides to come down. And right now, he's got 14 seconds between himself and RJ. Stay out there and log some laps while you're at it. Get the double natural some screen time. Of course, Rich Jett out of Schwenksville, Pennsylvania, with that Godzilla paint scheme there on the rear. Rich Jett, a seasoned veteran here of the Stacy Strong Cup Series. Leading RJ Root by now 12 seconds. So RJ starting to close in. Rich, it may be time to take the dive. .140 laps in the books, working our way toward lap 165, so about 25 laps to the end of stage 2. Rich Jett watching his lead evaporate by now another 3 seconds, as Jacob Schneider and RJ Root both battling each other, but at this point it may be wise just for RJ and Jacob to wait until they catch Rich Jett. Looks like considering that. Work together, get back up there, and then get the pitchforks and torches out. John Wilco, forgot to mention, the other driver who has not come down pit road yet. So teammates Wilco and Jet both not having been down pit road yet. Kavaja Holt and Cody Colley both bringing it back on the hauler, as well as Alex Princeton. Down on lap 126. He decided to put it on the hauler. Not sure what brought that on. As Rich Jet has now decided to cede the lead and bring it on down pit road. So that's probably going to bring along John Wilco this time by. As Wilco has held on to 13th position, but Jet just could not do it anymore, couldn't find a reason to do it anymore. And maybe he just waited a little bit too long, as he's going to come out a lap down now. Jacob Schneider, though, regains the lead, and he brings along RJ Root. Now we're going to watch these two go at it potentially, as Rich Jet has dropped all the way down to 18th position now, as the entire field just blew the doors off of the double natural. Plenty of drivers, though, down just a lap. Tanner Marty, Ken Ron, Steve Herring, Rich Jet now, as I had just mentioned. Those drivers all down one lap, so they're going to be battling it out for the lucky dog position. And, you know, of course, Mark Johnston running in 19th. He's just down 2 laps, so he's going to get one back potentially when we have our stage break. As we tune back in here to RJ Root. RJ Root in the No Kid Hungry Ford Mustang paint scheme. Taking a look right now at Joe Pisciona, who was in racing for quite some time. Had himself a little scuffle-uffle with Jake Schneider there in the 0-2. So it looks like he's battling his way back forward on his recovery drive right now, running in 5th position. But he was front row Joe when this race started on the pole, as he's chasing down Sean Rogers by about 0.8 of a second. So this race starting to get pretty strung out, like a recovering addict at a meth clinic, a methadone clinic. Taking a look at some of the other sports, just want to throw it out there, folks. If you don't want to be spoiled here, this is a spoiler alert for Major League Baseball. Because right now in the bottom of the 7th, the Braves lead the Nationals in D.C. 8-4. With 1 on and 2 out. In the top of the 7th on the West Coast, the Los Angeles Dodgers lead the Giants. A battle of 2 former New York teams are tied up. Tied up 2-2 in the top of the 7th at Chavez Ravine. The Blue Jays beat the Rays at Tropicana Field 9-5. The Diamondbacks go into the Bronx and beat the Yankees 7-1. In the first game of the doubleheader, the Nationals beat the Braves 3-2. And after just 6 innings, the White Sox beat the Red Sox in the battle of the stockings, if you will, 3-2. The Orioles beat the Guardians 5-1, as I still don't like the name Guardians, but whatever. I really thought they were going to go back to the Cleveland Spiders, which of course is what they were called before they were the former name of the Cleveland baseball team, and we're under caution. Not sure where this might have come out of. Let's see what happened here with Ron Fitting. Oh. Looks like maybe Ron Fitting just had himself some issues coming down the backstretch. And it may have been just enough to bring out the caution. He came down here to the low side, went to get out of the way of Gaskins, and just completely lost. And don't get me wrong, Gaskins was coming to hell, if you will, and bringing it down pit road almost immediately. So that'll give everybody a chance to come down and get some fresh shoes with about 15 to go here in stage number 1. Moving right along here through the baseball scores. The Miami Marlins in South Florida beat the Brewers 6-1. The Cincinnati Red Stockings beat the Pirates in some NL Central action 4-2. The Twins downed the Angels 9-3 in Minnesota. So maybe a little bit better in the Twin Cities for the baseball franchise rather than the football franchise today. At Minute Maid Park, the Astros fall to the Royals 6-5. And on the north side of Chicago, the Cubbies, go Cubs go, beat the Rockies 4-3. Texas Rangers go ahead and down their NL West rival, the Mariners, 9-8. And of course in Oakland, the Athletics lose again to go to 48-108 on the season with a 26-55 home record, as they lose to the Tigers 2-0. The Padres beat the Cardinals 12-2 and moved their record to a total of 77-79, so still trying to get to 500 on the season. While the Philadelphia Phillies beat the New York Mets, who have been eliminated from playoff contention 5-2 here in South Philadelphia, and improved their season record to 87-69 with a 47-31 home record. So a big night, or a big day that is, for the Philadelphia Phillies here in South Philadelphia. And of course, if you didn't watch Twitter or anything else, yes, we'll get it out of the way now. Taylor Swift basically peed herself when she saw Travis Kelce score a touchdown. So I'm betting she's a happy camper for him. I can't say anything inappropriate, so I'm going to just leave it at that. But Taylor Swift seemed very happy to see Travis Kelce score his touchdown, and Alex Princeton saying, "Go Twins!" So let's hop over here to, where did he go? Alex Princeton, who's on the hauler. I thought maybe he was still out on the racetrack, but I understand. I just say, even as a Philadelphia Phillies fan, I'm a little bit jealous of Chicago Cubs. Sure, they went 108 years before winning another World Series, but they get some cool music for the north side of Chicago. Number one, their organist is fantastic. You can check him out over on TikTok. But also, they've got this cool little Go Cubs Go song. You can check that out on iTunes, I believe. I know you can get it on Amazon Music. That's where I hear it. But it's just, you know, they just got some cool stuff. The only song I can't stand to this very day is Chelsea Dagger, because, of course, when the Blackhawks beat the Flyers in the 2010 Stanley Cup Final, I had to hear Chelsea Dagger ad nauseum and remind me that the Flyers lost. And as we get ready to go back, green flag racing, the iRacing.com pace car through the 3-4 complex. We're going to get right up here with the starter. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. Ladies and gentlemen, turn it up here on Sim Racing Media. Suddenly we have a three-way battle for the lead here with 5 to go in stage number 2. As fender to fender go RJ Root and Joe Pisciotta. Pisciotta, of course, not able to bring home the stage win in stage 1. He desperately wants it here for stage 2 for reasons I'm not quite sure. RJ getting loose coming out of 4. You almost have to wonder if he's screwing around with Pisciotta, because I'll tell you what, I've raced with RJ before, and that's... I mean, he's just showing you he's better than you. And I'll tell you what, RJ Root is one of the best drivers out here on this race, as he is now, we're 3 wide. 3 wide as Jacob Schneider just shoots the low side here, almost making contact with the 21. They're going to be doing battle again here. RJ loose as the 21 nearly washes up into him coming out of 4. RJ runs the wall coming out of 4, 3 wide with 2 to go. I'm sorry, yeah, 2 to go. In stage 2, RJ looks like he's trying to leave as much space between himself and Joe Pisciotta as possible, as they are still 3 wide, racing down the backstretch. The 22 giving the 0-2 a push down the backstretch. The 74 getting in on it, and they're hanging RJ out to dry. Alex Murray suddenly making use of... Whoa, they make contact. Pisciotta now hits the outside wall, runs across the racetrack. He's got to be out of position. No mistake, green. Alex Murray and Jacob Schneider wind up the victors of that battle as we are under caution. That's going to end stage 2 with Jacob Schneider being the victor. Oh my. Cue the catfight noises. Let's start by looking at this move from Joe Pisciotta. From the blimp, we can see Pisciotta making a move here. RJ getting loose and coming down into Pisciotta. Oh. Let's see if maybe I'm wrong and maybe that wasn't RJ getting loose. But my goodness. They just ran 3 wide for more than 2 laps, and I'm pretty sure everybody was soiling themselves. This battle brought to you by Depends. You never know when you're going to go. Oh, right there. Let's run that back real careful. That, I'll tell you what, if anything, that looked like a lot of fun on the racetrack. We'll bring it here slow-mo as we're going to watch RJ. We can start to see RJ having the rear end step out on him. The whole race car just kind of yeeting itself sideways. The 21 comes up and bounces off of RJ. And that's when all hell breaks loose for Joe Pisciotta. So Jacob Schneider wins the green and white checkered flag once again, but right now I got to find out from RJ Root what exactly happened there. Hey, RJ, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, listen, I really thought that you had it there at the end of stage 2, but, it looked like the car was loose. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I went with the 2-tire strategy to, I was hoping that more people would take it with me, and it was just a little too loose there. Left sides were a little worn from the previous run, so it was a lot looser than expected, and probably won't do that again.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not often. First off, I told the folks at home that it wasn't often that you and I got to be side by side unless you were lapping me. But then, to see everybody try to take you 3 wide for what was about 2.5 laps, I mean, that's a code brown moment no matter who you are.
Yeah, but the way that this car's sliding right now, it was a handful and a half. I mean, that was amazing running up front here, but I'm really sorry about what happened to Joseph. It just got a little loose. We're 3 wide. There's not really anything that we can do.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, listen, go ahead and change those Depends because you never know when you got to go. And maybe we'll see you at the end of the race here on the podium.
Thank you.
As always, glad to talk to RJ Root. Of course, one of my former competitors, and always glad to see him here on the racetrack as he has been the consummate professional here in, I hope I moved him into the right place. Pretty sure I did. Moving him up to Prodigy. The consummate professional here in the Stacy Strong Cup Series. Alex Murray going to restart stage 3 from the lead as we're going to have about 100 laps to the end. Going to be around 100 laps when we go back green flag racing. Of course, a couple of drivers going to have to get that lap back, as it looks like it's going to be the 60, at least the 60. It's Rafael Rodriguez, Ron Fitting. They're both going to go get laps back as Alex Murray goes double file. It's going to be Murray, Schneider, Edstrom, Stein, Root, Samuelson, Carson, Rogers, Dalton Mobley, and Jeremy Miller making up your top 10. So as you get yourselves all stretched out and ready to go here for stage 3, I want to remind everybody that we want to be thankful for you making us a part of your evening here on the Stacey Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, live on Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Hoping everybody got through the hurricane okay. Ophelia, if you will. As we had the after effects rolling through the Mid-Atlantic states the last couple of days. Just enough rain to be happy if you're a duck. The iRacing.com pace car peels down pit road 2x2. Go these cars as we're ready to get back underway. We hit the Geico restart zone and we are back to green flag racing. Alex Murray getting a healthy jump over Schneider and Edstrom. Edstrom has RJ Root in tow as Root drops right down in front of Nick Stein. RJ maybe not getting the restart that he was hoping for, as now Sean Rogers gives a bump to Ryan Samuelson to get up to the rear. Wow. Of RJ Root. They nearly go 3 wide. It's kind of a staggered 3 wide. Oh, Samuelson drops down in front of the 44. The 44 is going to take him, and we're back under caution. Sean Rogers able to drive away from the mayhem. As we're going to see if we can get this clip here from Ryan Samuelson. As they were all but 3 wide. And just made contact coming out of 4. We'll see if we can see this directly out of turn 4. As they're going to come out here. Ron Fitting just getting a chance to go down pit road. As we're going to watch one more time here. Wow. Well, for all intents and purposes, that could have been worse, for lack of a better term. In fact, we'll see if we can see that from his cockpit. It's here Samuelson just getting spun like a top. We can hear that motor slow down as he gets on the binders. Woof. So back under caution again here at Texas Motor Speedway, as now it seems like cautions are breeding caution. Sean Rogers getting back underway. Alex Murray going to have control of the field again. Followed by Brandon Edstrom, Jacob Schneider, Nick Stein, and RJ Root, your top 5. Speaking of Hurricane Ophelia, some work emails popping through from the real world. That's something you never want to see on a Sunday night. That means Monday morning is going to be mayhem or pandemonium in the ring. 172 laps in the books as we're under caution yet again. And you know, Texas Motor Speedway, one of these tracks that to me just has some cool little features. Of course, the caution lights that ring the track, kind of like the goal lights at a hockey arena, in my opinion, as the cars come into turn number 3, waiting for them to come into 3 and 4. But, you know, you can see these LED lights that ring Texas Motor Speedway as the iRacing.com pace car brings the cars through turn number 4. It's just a neat look. You know, no driver can ever say, hey, I didn't know that we were under caution. First off, we're in iRacing. There's a big thing that says you're under caution. Number 2, in real life, you know, there's not one spot on the racetrack that isn't covered by these. Of course, the scoring pylon here in the middle. Unfortunately, on iRacing, at least as a spectator, you don't get to see that change. But as a racer, that does change. It's actually kind of cool to watch. John Wilco coming down pit road. As our drone cam is just kind of drifting all over the racetrack. Always neat to have some extra tech. The lights are out on the pace car. That means that we'll be going back green flag racing, this time by on lap 174. Once again, glad to have everybody with us in the youtube.com live chat. Deb Harris, I appreciate the kind words as always. Hopefully we can play a little bit of YouTube Tango, YouTube live chat ping pong, as I do like a good dialogue going on. Kaylee Schneider cheering on the 0-2. Pulling for Jake. As we hit the Geico restart zone, and we are back underway, green flag racing. Murray getting a good jump yet again over Edstrom, as this is just a knot of cars behind him. And anybody who sits with me long enough here in the broadcast booth will know that I hate to see that diamond pattern come out. As teammates for the No Kid Hungry drive here, pair of Fords, that's the 30 of Jeremy Miller and the 69 of RJ Root. They're going to slide in behind their also teammate Jacob Schneider, who's being cheered on by Jacob Schneider. The 02, the 30, and the 69 all in a row. Followed by, led by Cross Junction, Virginia. I'll tell you what, maybe Jeff Carson, one of these things is not like the other. Let's check out the teammates. Nick Stein, Jacob Schneider, not Dalton, not you, Jeremy Miller, and now RJ is drifting back for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on. So thanks, guys, for making it look killing it. As we are less than 100 to go now, 90 to be specific. As your leader, Alex Murray, being harassed down the backstretch by Brandon Edstrom. John Wilco just coming off a pit lane. Ron Fitting down pit lane. So not sure what's going on with the Pride of McIntyre. Nick Stein being bothered by Dalton Mobley, but not that bad, as Jeff Carson from Cross Junction, Virginia, has quietly crawled his way up into the top 5. And Chris Claude has conservatively gotten his way into the top 10. Texas Motor Speedway, one of the more exciting tracks. Of course, all of the tracks in NASCAR are exciting, but I can't help but always be thrilled when we come to Texas. Of course, the first place that Dale Earnhardt Jr. ever got an Xfinity and a Cup win. My favorite driver, and I'll get to see him in person in Miami next month. But here, the Fort Worth Sports Authority owns the racetrack. The operator, of course, is Speedway Motorsports, so SMI. That's why it's a motor speedway, why it has that red, white, and blue graphic. What I always thought was kind of looks like the Batmobile from the 90s Batman the Animated Series logo. Of course, this asphalt surface is exactly 1.5 miles. Turns 1 and 2 have 20-degree banking, 3 and 4 have 24-degree banking. And the fastest race lap ever was laid down by NASCAR's very own Tony Stewart in a Delara IR7 back in 1998 at 22.972 seconds. So that's pretty quick. Take a look at other race records. Here in the Cup Series, Kurt Busch laid down a lap time of 26.877 seconds. Nobody came even close to that. That was back in 2017. Race time belongs to Greg Biffle, who finished the race with an average speed of 160 miles per hour back in 2012. The Xfinity Series features Jeff Green with the qualifying record of 27.908 seconds and Kyle Busch finishing the race fastest in the Xfinity Series back in 2008. Johnny Sauter has the Truck Series lap time record at 28.608 seconds back in 2018. And, Paul Tracy, Kenny Brock, back in 2001 laid down a 22.854 second in the IndyCar Series. As I mentioned, Tony Stewart and his Delara IR7 for the True Value 500 brought it home. It's pretty exciting. And then when you look at the NASCAR Cup Series records, this seems like kind of a Jimmy Johnson track, if you will. The most wins, Jimmy Johnson at 7. The most top 5s, Jimmy Johnson at 16. The most top 10s, Jimmy Johnson at 22. The most starts, Kevin Harvick. The most laps left, Jimmy Johnson, 1,152. So, obviously, seems like a very Jimmy Johnson heavy track. And back in 2000, Dale Earnhardt Jr. got his first Cup Series win here, which of course is exciting for me, being a kid who grew up watching and thinking Dale Jr. was just the bee's knees until I grew up and realized he was an advertiser. But an even better ambassador for the sport. Of course, one of the executives with iRacing. Dalton Mobley, your new race leader. We'll see how he passed Alex Murray for the race lead. As Dalton got right behind him here on 1 and 2. Murray trying to hold him off, and Mobley just got some kind of a crazy run getting into 3 as he caught a little bit of a draft off the rear of the double deuce and just blew the doors off of Alex Murray. So now he's out here with a 1 3/4 second lead. Nick Stein, though, closing in on Brandon Edstrom. Less than 2/10 of a second at 0.13 seconds, the gap between those two drivers. Matt Gaskin's just about the same as he's chasing down Ken Ron in the 33. We haven't gotten a real chance to talk to Ken this year, but the Dillsburg, Pennsylvania native, it's, first of all, one of my fellow statemen here, this time from the 717 area code. Of course, John Wilco out of the 570 up in Macnew, Pennsylvania. Schwanksville, the home to Rich Jett. So a lot of Pennsylvanians here in this league, a lot of Virginians in this league. So maybe we should just call it the Commonwealth Racing League, as Pennsylvania and Virginia both Commonwealth states here in this nation. If you wanted to know what the Commonwealth state is, because maybe you don't live in a Commonwealth, maybe you're not in Massachusetts or Pennsylvania or Virginia. A Commonwealth is a political community that, and this is according to Google, don't worry, I didn't have this stored up in my brain, but it will be now. but a political community that is founded for the common good. It can also refer to a government where all the people have a say, or a loose formation of nations where they share loyalty. The term Commonwealth is used in the official state names of 4 of the 50 states: Kentucky, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. So a lot of times that can mean, especially here in Pennsylvania, that means that the counties kind of operate, the counties, which of course are the municipalities within the state. We have 67 here in Pennsylvania. But that also means that they kind of operate autonomously. You know, they can make a decision, they have to follow the state rules, but they can also have county laws, not necessarily superseding state laws, but state regulations, however they want to raise money, so to speak. But that Commonwealth allows some of these counties to operate differently than others. It's not one size fits all. And in a state like Pennsylvania, where you can have something like Philadelphia County, or where I am here in Montgomery County in Morristown, Pennsylvania, it's an incredibly urban area. So your requirements and your movements are going to be a lot different. Whoa! A little bit of contact between the 44 and the 02. 44 and the 82, I'm sorry. That's Nick Stein and Sean Rogers. But, you know, you can go from an incredibly urban area like I live in, and next thing you know, you can be at the other end of the state in Potter County or, you know, Tioga County. Whoa! The 82 goes sideways. He makes contact with the 02. That's Jacob Schneider. And Nick Stein cannot be a happy camper, as obviously they had heard enough about Commonwealth rules. Let's take a look here. Cue the angry argument as Nick Stein gets contact from the 02 of Jacob Schneider and just against a sideways. To finish that thought, you know, there are some places in Pennsylvania that just have different needs than others, and being a Commonwealth allows you to do that. So let's get back to our replay here. We can see the 02 of Jacob Schneider coming down underneath the 82, and they just make contact. Oh. It's teammate on teammate crime for Nick Stein, as that's going to put Nick Stein out of the way a little bit here and leave Dalton Mobley atop the pile. Everybody last coming in on lap 165. We're going to start to see a lot of these drivers trying to save their tires. As they should all have about 2 sets of tires left. 2 or maybe 3. Mobley being followed down pit road by Alex Murray, Brandon Edge from Sean Rogers, Jacob Snyder, Jeff Carson, Rich Jett, Jeremy Miller, Matt Gaskins, Ken Ron, Steve Herring, Nick Stein, Tanner Marty, and Chris Claude. You can see here on the left side of your screen how everybody's going to squirt off a pit road. Ryan Samuelson opting not to come down pit road, as he's got 20 lap older tires, so we're going to see him swallowed up like krill in the mouth of a whale. But Alex Murray was the Pied Piper there. Mark Johnston also didn't come down pit road. I see here he was last out on 165. And we see that Nick Stein and Chris Claude still down on pit road. through the field, it's going to be Ryan Samuelson, Alex Murray, Brandon Edstrom in third, Dalton Mobley coming off fourth, Sean Rogers going to restart in fifth, Jeff Carson going to restart in sixth position, Jacob Schneider going to restart in seventh, while Rich Jett rolls off again in eighth. Jeremy Miller in ninth, RJ Root in 10th, Ken Ron going to come off in 11th, Steve Herring in 12th, Tanner Marty in 13th, Chris Claw with the cartoon caricature, if you will, and Mark Johnston going to come off as the last car on the lead lap in 17th position. Johnston, not the driver I was thinking of. Never mind, I'm going to let that thought die. We see the image of the great Tony Trapasso here in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, and I'm always reminded now, after I met his mother at his memorial service a couple of weeks ago, what a great guy he was, and hearing some of the stories from his mom about the way that he felt about racing is just something special, and I'm sad that we lost our friend, but at the same time, I know that he is sitting here with us tonight. Where else would I get depends, know when to go, or never know when you gotta go? That's something that Tony could have rolled right off his tongue with no problem whatsoever. And he loved coming here to Texas. It's a mile and a half. It's one of the bread and butter tracks of the NASCAR circuit. But right now, we're going to turn it up here on Sim Racing Media. Can't believe that wasn't a caution. We're going to run back and see what happened there in just a second. But Alex Murray is cycling his ignition, it seems. We're going to ride along here with Alex Murray. He's not cycling the ignition as much as he's riding the clutch to save fuel. He's getting a run out of 4 on the Brandon Edstrom. And we can see just how far back he's backing off these corners. My goodness. Now, let's take a run back here and see what might have happened. Because obviously something with whatever was going on right behind Alex. That was Sean Rogers. And we're going to see Sean Rogers here in the 44. All of a sudden just kind of get it sideways. We see the 44 following. He got right in front of Dalton Mobley and got cleaned out. But he stays pointed forward, so that's what kept our race green. He moved forward and never got tagged for crashing. .204 laps in the books at Texas Motor Speedway. 204 of 267 in the Stacey Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series. The Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast. We're going to step aside and pay some bills, and folks, make sure that you do head over to simracingmedia.com, get yourself some swag, get yourself some merch, and maybe a little gift here as we're getting into the Christmas season, if you will. Deb Harris, yeah, that was definitely an ouch kind of moment for Sean Rogers, and I'm sure that doesn't make Amanda Price very happy, but unfortunately, boom went the proverbial dynamite. Make sure that you do head over to simracingmedia.com, check out our shop. You can also check out some of our podcast offerings. You can hear the dulcet tones of the great one, Tony Trapasso, sitting alongside me for our former podcast, The Money Stop, with Tony and Dave. And, of course, my interview with Justin Nunley, the guy from TikTok who says, "Listen, did you know?" And it's just, he's fantastic. We had a great interview. And you can also check that out over on simracingmedia.com. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We'll be right back at Texas Motor Speedway. welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway, where your new race leader is Dalton Mobley. Mobley out to a 2/10 of a second lead over Brandon Edstrom, so another lead change here in this race. 4 cars pulling away from the rest of the field by about 1.5 seconds. Ryan Samuelson working the high side of Matt Gaskins in the Fireball Chevrolet. We always call him Fireball Gaskins to tip our cap to Fireball Roberts from back in the day. Chris Claude on a set of new tires. That's coming down to lap 193, as well as Dalton Mobley and the rest of the top drivers in this particular group. He's working the underside of the Hoka Ford Mustang and getting around Ryan Samuelson. I want to welcome everybody here to the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth, the Tony Trapasso Memorial broadcast booth. You're watching the Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series live here on Sim Racing Media. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. As Deb Harris is now cheering on Brandon Edstrom. And Edstrom just taking the lead back from Dalton Mobley. We'll see what happened there, as Edstrom must have been coming with a full head of steam behind Mobley as they were just starting to pull away from Carson and Jed. And we see Edstrom just get a run underneath Mobley, and he never even looks back. A clean pass, a strong pass, as now Brandon Edstrom back to your race lead, but Dalton Mobley still out here doing the battle. Not ready to give it up just yet. Jeremy Miller now also trying to battle it out for 13th position with Tanner Marty in the number 29 Nitro Chevrolet Camaro. Once again, a lot of Fords. We're starting to see some mixing here as Jeff Carson has worked his way into the podium area with about 62 laps left, so about 52 laps to go. Carson now looking to the inside of Mobley. Perhaps he saw something when Edstrom got around him, as he's able to loosen up Mobley just a little bit. We can see Carson getting the run on Mobley, coming right up to that rear bumper. If he gets any closer, he'll take the air right off the rear spoiler, loosen Mobley, and get around him. So now Carson has seen the recipe. He comes all right up there. He's just messing with Mobley. He's kind of like a cat playing with a mouse. He just wants to play with him. He just wants to see what's going on here. And he's creeping up slowly but surely on Dalton Mobley. The Cross Junction, Virginia native looks to make the run. Oh, Mobley drops down in front of him, but Carson, not even afraid, guns it right underneath him and makes the pass. Mobley now behind Carson. Has to be a little bit frustrating, and Carson now eyes the lead. Here on lap 219, he has started to make his moves toward the front of this race. He's going to do it once again. Right up here, he takes the air right off the 74's bumper, makes the pass, and gets right underneath Brandon Edstrom. Something happened here with Sean Rogers. We'll have to check that out in a moment. But right now, the door handle battle between Carson and Edstrom. As we can see, Carson doesn't come off his line. He stays where he wants to be. He knows he doesn't have the clearance over Edstrom just yet. And he hauls it right down into turn number 3. Edstrom doesn't have a choice but to watch him pass him by. And as we see here from the gyro cam in Edstrom's car, he has no choice but to let Carson lead this race now. And believe you me, folks, I have been racing with Jeff Carson for the last couple of years, and he is about to sit here and set sail. He is going to be taking his marks, making each and every one of them, and we're going to start to see this gap open up now that those guys from PRE have gone down just a little bit. Dalton Mobley trying to get back up into this little mix here, but right now doing the Texas two-step is Brandon Edstrom and Jeff Carson, as Carson is right where he wants to be when he wants to be there. Believe me, I've seen Jeff Carson do very well in many different races, and a lot of times, like I had said earlier, it's about keeping the cleanest car, and believe me when I tell you that, Jeff gets very frustrated when, he starts getting the nicks and the dings on the car from people pushing him around. But he has just gotten through all of the traffic, whether lapped or, he takes a ride. Whoa, that's frustrating. But he takes a ride off the wall there. That allows Edstrom to close in on him just a little bit. But, Jeff is one of those drivers where as long as he's got a clean car and he can get out to the front, he is going to start leading some laps and logging some victories here as we move forward in this race. Lap 224 in the books when they went past the start-finish line this time, 225 this time by. And Edstrom looks to the inside again, tries to loosen up Carson, maybe giving Carson a little bit of his own medicine. And now Carson moving out of the way as he's going to allow Edstrom past him now that he knows how to get back around. Mobley going to try to take Carson on the high side. Thinks better of it. To go here at Texas Motor Speedway. Just another look back at our points coming into tonight. Now, of course, Jeff Carson, we don't see that pink trim on the car, which means that he is not a playoff driver, but he's still up here doing battle. And in fact, let's take a look here. Brandon Edstrom, he's got it. Mobley, he don't got it. So right now, your top three only has one driver that's in the playoffs, Rich Jet coming down pit road. And I'll tell you what, that doesn't much matter to Jeff Carson. He knows that he's earned where he is right now in this race. Maybe he cooked a little bit off the 9 too soon, but he knows how he can get up there. We're going to come out of here and go right down to Talladega Superspeedway this coming Sunday, which of course you will have somebody else here in the broadcast booth with you for that. I know I'll be active in the chat, but not active at the microphone. Alex Murray, your points leader, coming into the evening, followed by R.J. Root. So that's going to be an interesting exchange, especially when you consider R.J. Root right now running in 9th position, Alex Murray running in 4th. And between those two drivers is just 33 points. So it's going to be an interesting exchange if RJ can get up there and get around Murray. And we see right now RJ running in 9th position, perfectly happy, just logging laps. He knows he's going to have a chance next week at Talladega, even though that sometimes can turn into a wild card race, especially because we do have those people that, one, you could get insanely lucky and come home with the checkered flag, or they're just somebody who's really good at running wide open and drafting. A lot of championships have been won and lost at the super speedways over time. There's none greater at the super speedways than Dale Earnhardt Sr. But Brandon Edstrom now running away with the lead with a 1.3 second gap between himself and Murray. Jeff Carson starting to fade, running in 4th position right now. So not sure if that bite at the wall had that big of an effect, or if he's just saving a little something here for the end now that he knows he can get up there. Which, with the time that's melting off the lap counter, he may want to consider coming in early for a pit and see if he can't try to gain some of that back in time. And speak of the devil, here he comes. Jeff Carson down pit road. That leaves Brandon Edstrom, Alex Murray, Dalton Mobley, Nick Stein, and Matt Gaskins in the top 5. Jeremy Miller now coming down pit road. So now we've started to see the money stop here with just over 30 to go. So obviously that earlier calculation that I had run of 30 laps per set of tires is starting to come true. Finally making me not look like the clown that I can tend to be. As we work lap 234 now. Brandon Edstrom in the race leader 0.3 of a second ahead of Alex Murray. About 1.4 ahead of Dalton Mobley. Sorry, 1.8 ahead of Dalton Mobley. And it sounds like, according to race radio, of course I can hear it, you can't, but Brandon Edstrom getting ready to come down pit road. That'll cycle Alex Murray to the race lead as Edstrom comes down. Jeff Carson going to lose a lap after his pit, and it looks like Edstrom going to go the same way. Matt Gaskin's going to come down pit road. Dalton Mobley and Nick Stein. That leaves Alex Murray all by his lonesome. Joined by, Gaskin's changing his mind. He's staying out. Jacob Schneider, RJ Root, Matt Gaskins, and Alex Murray staying out. And we are under caution. Something that some of the lap cars didn't want to see. Alex Murray is happy about. Let's see what brought this out. I don't see anything yet on timing and scoring. I don't see any smoke on the racetrack. Not sure what brought this out. Still no word from the race control booth on what may have brought this caution out. We'll get that information to you just as soon as we get it. So under caution we go here in the Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth bringing you all of the action. Alex Murray coming down pit road. Matt Gaskins, Jacob Schneider, and RJ Root all going to come down. That's going to enable Dalton Mobley, Nick Stein, Rich Jett, Jeremy Miller, Brandon Edstrom, Ryan Samuelson, Jeff Carson, and Ken Ron, basically everybody else, to stay out and get that lap back. All the way down through Chris Claude and Steve Herring. Not sure if Mark Johnston's going to try for it, as he may be the lucky dog. We'll have to see in just a moment. That should be enough to get Johnston back around for the lucky dog. Or the free pass, as it would like to be known. However, that's going to keep Alex Murray up in the race lead. Barry, Jeff Carson, Ken Rod, and Chris Claude back further in the field as Murray, Gaskin, Schneider, Root, and Jet, well, really just Root, Schneider, Gaskins, and Murray, all coming down on lap 239. Dalton Mobley and Nick Stein coming on 237. As we're about 27 laps from the end here at Texas Motor Speedway. We're going to take a run back here and see if we can't find what might have happened. Sounds like Jeff Carson may have been involved in something with netcode, so we'll take a run back and see if maybe we can find out where this happened. Just trying to work back here through the field. It's going to take a little bit to run this all the way. And we just went digging through the video files and found it. We see Jeff getting a run here behind Matt Gaskins, the 30. Ooh, they make a little bit of contact. Let's run that just one more time, as this may have been some kind of weird form. Must have missed something here. It's going to be Murray, Gaskin, Schneider, Root, Jet, your top five, followed by Mobley, Stein, Miller, Edstrom, and Samuelson, your top 10. With 26 to go now on lap 242, the SNN Cup Series, bringing you all of the excitement here on Sunday night in prime time, of course. The only thing better than us is nothing. So make sure that you keep it right here on youtube.com for the Stacey Strong Cup Series. As mentioned earlier, a reminder to tune in tomorrow night at 8:20 p.m. when we go live for the Andy's Frozen Custard 300 in the A Lot Cleaner Property Management and Maintenance Xfinity Series, brought to you right here from Texas Motor Speedway. The iRacing.com pace car bringing the field through turn 4. And as it drops down onto pit road, Matt Gaskin's going to have control of the field as we come into the front stretch. We hit the Geico restart zone. He hits the loud pedal, and here we go. Gaskin's not getting a good restart. RJ Root drops to the low side, shoving Gaskins up to the high side. He's going to squeeze on by with next to no problem to chase down Jacob Schneider, his teammate, in the 02 Ford Mustang. So 3 blue ovals lead this piece, Murray, Schneider, and Root. Then 3 Chevrolets, Gaskins, Jet, and Dalton Mobley. Then 4 blue ovals, Nick Stein, Brandon Edstrom, Jeremy Miller, Ryan Samuelson. And then we start getting mixed up. Speaking of mixed up, right now Nick Stein hauls it right around Dalton Mobley. He's going to work his way past Rich Jett in the number 3. I'm sorry, Ron Fitting in the number 3 here on lap 244. He's going to start to draft his way up behind Rich Jett. As now it goes Ford, Chevy, Ford. In the top 6. Anyway, just wanted to remind everybody about tomorrow night's Xfinity race right here at Texas on Sim Racing Media. You can catch us on YouTube. Make sure that if you haven't yet, for whatever strange reason, that you subscribe to Sim Racing Media here on YouTube.com. Give us a thumbs up and turn on those bell notifications so you can be reminded every time here in the SNN family of racing series. I want to thank everybody for popping into the YouTube.com live chat. Watching Nick Stein try to hold off Rich Jett now that he's gotten around Jett. Jett now having to deal with Dalton Mobley, the non-playoff driver, as all 3 of them are going to be chasing down Matt Gaskins in the 7th. Rich Jett, your biggest mover of the night, up 13 spots after starting in 19th, has now clawed his way up into 7th, so up 12 spots now for Jett. As the 82 of Nick Stein starting to creep into that rear bumper of Matt Gaskins, we see Gaskins trying to just hit his mark, stay out of the way. If the 82's there, he's there. If he's not, hit your marks. Alex Murray starting to put some distance between himself and Jacob Schneider by about 7/10 of a second. 1.4 back to RJ Root. With now 20 to go, we're going to take one last break here. Remind everybody to head on over to simracingmedia.com, check out our shop, get yourself some swag and support the people who support you week in and week out. Here on YouTube.com, I'm Dave Regal. This is the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth, bringing you all of the action from the Stacey Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series. 15 laps to go now here at Texas Motor Speedway in the Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series. Alex Murray, your race leader, being challenged now by Jacob Schneider. Less than a quarter of a second behind him is Schneider. They're followed by R.J. Root by about 1.6 seconds. So a lot of distance between Root and Murray. And right now, Root probably just pleased to make it through this stage and this race without being beaten to death. Nick Stein running in fourth, followed by Dalton Mobley, who's been harassing everybody all night up atop this pile. Brandon Edstrom doing battle alongside Matt Gaskins in the Fireball Chevrolet, with Rich Jett and Jeremy Miller in ninth, and Ryan Samuelson rounding out your top 10. Chris Claude just outside of the top 10, thinking maybe he can make a run for it, as he's only 0.8 of a second behind Ryan Samuelson. So he does have a shot, especially if we have a late caution here in this series. In this race, correction. Schneider getting a run on the rear bumper of Murray with 11 laps to go now, rolling it out of turn number 4. He's looking to try to draft himself up just the same way that Jeff Carson showed he could get up to the lead earlier. Jeff Carson now put it on the hauler on lap 240, unfortunately, so he will not be finishing for the evening after his brush with death. Schneider looking to the inside of Murray. This is a pass for the lead as Murray goes high, Schneider goes low, and Schneider makes a run here and takes away the lead from Murray just for the time being, as Murray maybe looks to try to regain that lead rolling out of turn number 2. He's going to have some of the speed, but right now Schneider has all of the momentum. With 9 laps to go, it seems like they're starting to really melt fast like an ice cream cone in the sun. Time is ticking as these two drivers start to light the torches and grab the pitchforks, because folks, we're going to have ourselves a battle on our hands here to the end of this race. R.J. Root running in third, waiting for one of these two drivers to make a mistake and maybe try to steal one. But as we stand right now, Murray and Schneider have control of the field with 8 to go, 7 when they cross the start-finish line right here. And they are not going to be giving it up easy, that's for sure. We see right now Schneider getting a run on the low side of Alex Murray, and Murray can't be too happy about that, as Schneider hauls it down the backstretch as our race leader with 7 laps to go. He's got Alex Murray all up in his rearview mirror. We can see Greenville, South Carolina's Jacob Schneider trying to hold off Alex Murray. And Alex Murray none too happy about having to look at the rear bumper of Schneider. This is a battle of the Carolinas if I ever saw one. Concord versus Greenville. Murray has good rotation coming out of 1 and 2, but Schneider at this point is just almost too much to handle, as they're chasing each other like they're two kids on the playground playing tag. R.J. Root kind of in the catbird seat right now, as he is just hanging out back here. 2 seconds to Murray, 1.4 back to Stein. He's pretty much got third position locked up. But this battle for the lead isn't over yet, as we come out and go to 3 to go. Anything that happens here could bring out NASCAR overtime, which is something that Schneider doesn't want to see, that Murray may want to if he thinks he can get a good jump over Schneider on restart. They come out of turn number 2 and haul it down the backstretch yet again. And as they ride it out of turns 3 and 4 and head back for the flag stand, the popsicle sticks go in the air with 2 to go. That gap between Schneider and Murray getting ever larger as Murray losing ground on Schneider slowly but surely. Nick Stein just got around R.J. Root, and Nick Stein just trying to secure his place on the podium as R.J. Root may have cooked it all. Popsicle sticks go down, the white flag comes out, we're racing back to checkers. Anything that happens between here and the time the checkered flag flies going to end this race, and right now the way that it looks, Alex Murray doesn't want to see that, or I'm sorry, Jacob Schneider doesn't want to see that happen. Alex Murray still wants a good run at him, but I think Schneider's got this thing in the bag. As they come out of turn number 4, the checkered flag comes out, it waves. And Jacob Schneider is your race winner here at Texas Motor Speedway in the Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series. It's a little congratulatory bump here from the 22 as that was a hard-fought battle here at the end of this piece. Nick Stein rolling across third. Dalton Mobley in fourth. Brandon Edstrom rounds out your top 5. R.J. Root finishing in 6th. Matt Gaskins in 7th. Rich Jett, Jeremy Miller, and Ryan Samuelson rounding out your top 10. And here we are with Jacob Schneider, winner of the Stacy Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series race here at Texas Motor Speedway. Hey, Jake, it's Dave up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Hey, man, listen, congratulations. A hard-fought win against the 22 here in the closing laps. How are you feeling as you were starting to watch that distance start to grow between you and the 22?
Yeah, I knew I was better than him on the long run, but I struggled a little bit on the short run, so I saw him getting away. I didn't know if there was enough laps left or not, but I just kept digging, and yeah, it feels good. It was a hard-fought win.
Well, you get to a certain point in any race, and after a while you realize it's time to just full send and dig as hard as you can, and that you absolutely did tonight. I mean, Greenville should be celebrating as you had a little bit of a battle of the Carolinas here. You just salted your way into the next round of the playoffs, as of course here we are in the round of 8. So now you're already in that championship 4. How do you feel?
I'm very relieved going into Talladega, because who knows what will happen there. So I don't have to worry about that. I can just kind of chill and have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, you just salted your way into the round of 8. I don't know what my brain was doing there.
Yeah,
but,
I know what you meant.
But yeah, I mean, you've gotten yourself through where, yeah, you can take a break at Talladega, maybe screw around a little bit at Charlotte, but now you can really focus on that next round of the playoffs, looking at Las Vegas. How do you feel about going to Las Vegas out there in the desert?
Not sure yet. I'll know more when I start practicing, but I'm sure the Ryko setups will be great, just like always. Not extremely worried about it. I'm pretty sure the guy I got to beat is this one right next to me still, the 22.
You bet your boots he is. He definitely put up a hard fight tonight. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to tip your helmet to and shout out for tonight's win?
Yeah, Ryko.gg again for the setups. Everyone at Prodigy Esports. My sister's always watching. She's in your guys' broadcast, commenting along, and yeah, I guess that's about it. Yeah. Thanks to Chris and you guys for putting on the series and the broadcast.
Hey, it's our pleasure to sit up here in the booth and watch you guys go at it, because believe you me, as a former driver here in this series, in the Cup Series, I am more than happy to sit up here in the booth and not be banging my head against the steering wheel on lap 30.
Yeah, this will be a good one to watch back tomorrow morning at work, too.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. Well, listen, congratulations, and we'll see you next week at Talladega. Actually, I won't see you next week at Talladega, but whoever fills my seat will be.
All right, sounds good. Have a good week.
That, of course, the voice of your race winner, Jacob Schneider. Next up on the list going to be Mr. Alex Murray out of Concord, North Carolina, in the shadow of all that is NASCAR racing. Hey, Alex, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I gotcha.
Hey, man, listen, good run tonight. A hard-fought battle in the last 5 to 7 laps. I mean, you almost had Schneider, but then, you started to fade a little bit. Did you cook up what you had left, maybe a little early, or, did you just not have it to get around him?
It was just bad call on my part there. Took 2 tires at that pit stop and tried to outsmart him and thought it would free the car up enough, and I was just too tight there to do anything with Jacob. I tried to keep him behind me as long as I could. He got by me. Thought I may be able to get a run at him, but just wore my stuff out, trying to make a last-ditch effort to get by him.
Well, that's kind of the risk that you take in a place like this. I mean, no matter how hard you try, there's always somebody who may be able to outsmart you, or you wind up beating yourself, trying to outsmart somebody else. I mean, here we are in the playoffs. I mean, you're not a playoff driver, but at this stage in the season, I mean, you've earned your way to be up here on the podium. There's no reason not to battle it out.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna go into Talladega and try to get us into the round of 8. Right out of the gate at Talladega, and thought we maybe be able to get ourselves locked in here today, but I think we've got a good shot at Talladega. I mean, anyone's got a shot at Talladega, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, cripes. I sit up here in the broadcast booth. I could win Talladega by accident just by hitting the microphone button. It's definitely kind of a wild card race, which I think is neat that NASCAR builds that into the system. Especially if you're a driver who may not be as strong at the 1.5 miles or, God forbid, a road course like the Roval. I think those 2 races coming up are definitely wild card style races, if you will. And that's definitely where, if I were you, I'd be checking my rearview mirror for RJ Root at the road course.
I got him covered. We'll be fine. But
shots fired.
I think Jacob, myself, RJ, Nick, we'll all be really good at the Roval, and then Talladega is going to be kind of a toss-up to see who works with who and go from there. But no, I think we're looking good to get into the round of 8. I mean, our points are looking good, and obviously had all those bonus points going into the playoffs. So I think we'll be all right. I just need to get back to winning form. Been off a little bit the past 2 weeks, and thought we may have had one tonight, but Jacob stole it from us, which is fine. But I think it's time we get back in victory lane.
All right, man. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, who do you need to tip your helmet to and thank for tonight's run?
Yeah, the National Alliance on Mental Health or mental illness, Ryko, everybody at Prodigy Sports, obviously you guys for broadcasting this stuff. This is why we do it. And Paddle Track is an app you can download for pickleball, so it's a pretty cool app. I'd suggest checking that out. And obviously my fiance, my son, everyone who supports me, and we're going to go on to Talladega and try to get it done.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on the second place finish tonight. We will see, you'll see somebody here in the broadcast booth, not me, as I will be down in, I'll be closer to you than I will be to here. I'll be in Myrtle Beach. So congrats tonight, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, especially in our hearts here in the SRM broadcast booth, Mr. Nick Stein out of Lubbock, Texas. Hey, Nick, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, man, listen, hard-fought battle tonight. I mean, it just seemed like, first off, there's 3 blue ovals atop the pile, and I'm pretty sure all of you were running the Ryko setup. How was that car feeling tonight, and how did you wind up here on the podium?
To start off with the hot track temp, it was really, really loose. We had to make a ton of adjustments just to get it handling right, and that first stage was a little bit rough for me. I was still trying to figure out how to drive the car on this hardwood track, so we got it figured out, though, and ended up getting a third out of it, so I can't complain too loudly. No one would listen even if I did.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, we were watching that track temperature at the very beginning at 106 degrees. I lost track of it after a while, but I mean, you guys all throughout the evening were making adjustments, I'm sure. What was that last pit stop like, and how much did that mean to you, to be able to get this thing in?
Well, I mean, our original plan was we were going to try to fuel safe and try to make it on fuel, but we learned very quickly that we weren't going to be able to make it. So all 3 of us, me, Alex, and Brandon, we all made the consecutive call. All right, we're pitting. We're not going to do the fuel saving, and then that caution came out right as I came down pit road, and honestly, I think that's what saved me, was that caution. If that didn't come out, I don't think I would have gotten a third out of this.
Well, it's one of those, if it wouldn't have come out, you might have run out. And since it did come out, it kind of saved you. So it's always nice when you wind up on the upside of a good guess at 200 miles an hour getting around this place. Boogieing around Texas Motor Speedway is not easy, and you guys make it look so easy. And you make the racing exciting to watch, especially for those of us at home and here in the broadcast booth. So good for you guys for getting it done. Now, next week we go to Talladega, which of course I'll be absent from. But how are you feeling getting onto the Super Speedway and then the following week at the Roval?
I mean, Dega, it's a plate track. You already know going in, it's going to be kind of a crapshoot to begin with. So it's just going to be survival there at Talladega, especially. I think I'm going to be in a pretty good points place after tonight with the 3rd place finish. So I'm just going to go into Talladega kind of hoping to survive, basically. And then the Roval, I'm really excited for. I'm hoping to do really, really good at the Roval, see if I can get a lot of more points and get myself locked into the round of 8.
Well, I just warned the other 2 drivers. I mean, look, you can go to the Roval and think that you're going to do as well as you want to, but RJ Root is still there lurking in the background. How are you going to try to overcome him, especially as he was the first driver to transfer here into this round? And, of course, him being a road course whisperer, what are you thinking moving into that race against him?
Against RJ? I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. He's usually pretty good at the plate tracks and the road courses, but, I mean, you never know with this league. I mean, you just got to wait and see,
Absolutely. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank for tonight's run?
I just got to thank Ryko Motorsports. They put together an amazing setup this week. From what I heard, they swept all the NIS splits this year. So, the setup was really fast. And, of course, I got to thank all the guys at Prodigy. Got to support No Kid Hungry, a brand new sponsor over here at Prodigy. So, got to thank all those guys, P1 Coffee, just everyone that helps us get it done. And, of course, all the guys over at Prodigy putting all the laps they do in on the weekly just to get the setup as fast as possible. And you saw what it did tonight. We put in the practice, we put in the hours, and we took a 1-2-3 sweep of it.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on the 3rd place finish again. We'll see you. I will see you in 2 weeks at the Charlotte Roval. Next week, you'll have somebody else here in the booth, but want to wish you luck for that, and have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
That, of course, the voice of Nick Stein, driver of the number 82. And what a night we had here, folks. I mean, Texas Motor Speedway is a place that's kind of near and dear to my heart as it's the first place that Dale Jr. got wins in the Xfinity and the Truck Cup Series. Sorry. And here in the Stacey Strong Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series, I can't be more thankful for these drivers who put on such a great show for all of you at home. And even more so, I'm thankful for all of you at home who make us a part of your evening every single week. And I know that certain folks that I'm missing a whole lot would be glad to see all 118 of you as well. And one final look at our final results. Jacob Schneider brings home the checkered flag here After battling it out with Alex Murray toward the end of this race, he brings home the win in victory lane. Alex Murray finishes in second, and they are joined on the podium by Nick Stein in the number 82, 3 blue ovals atop this pile. Dalton Mobley and Brandon Edstrom round out your top 5, while R.J. Root finishes in 6th, followed by Matt Gaskins in the Fireball Chevrolet, and Rich Jett, Jeremy Miller, and Ryan Samuelson in the Hoka number 81 Ford Mustang round out your top 10. Steve Herring finishes 11th, while Chris Claude, the chief cook and bottle washer here at the SNN Cup Series, finishes in 12th position, tagging his way closer to that round of 8. Ken Ron out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, finishes in 13th, while Tanner Marty winds up in 14th. Mark Johnston brings home 15th position, while McAdoo, Pennsylvania's very own John Wilco comes home in 16th position. Rafael Rodriguez finishes in 17th, with Ron Fitting, Jeff Carson, and Sean Rogers rounding out your top 20. Joseph Pisciota, after having a busy first and second stage, winds up in 21st position, while Alex Princeton comes home in 22nd. Kavaja Holt logs just 67 laps before putting it on the hauler to finish 23rd, and Cody Colley only 43 laps before going home brings up the rear here in 24th position. So, folks, it has been a long night of racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. Next week, of course, we will be right here on Sim Racing Media, but I will not be, as I will be on some vacation, taking care of some stuff for my mom down in Myrtle Beach. So, hope to have a nice little respite down there while I help her out. And, of course, I'll be missing all of you in our YouTube.com live chat, as we've gotten to know each other over the last couple of weeks with me here in the broadcast booth. And I want to thank you for making us a part of your evening every week, because without you folks at home paying attention and watching our races here on Sim Racing Media, it just wouldn't be worth it. So for everybody else here at Sim Racing Media, I want to thank you for making us a part of your evening. And, of course, as you go through your day tomorrow, remember, you're special. You're the only one like you. And that's just fine by me. Good night, everybody.